Good evening, sports fans. Welcome to After the Buzzer. My name is Riley Steele, sports editor here at the DP, and we're coming to talk to you a little bit about what we saw from Penn men's and women's hoops over this past weekend. We're going to start here with senior staff writer John Phillips. And John, let's talk about Penn men's hoops. What did you see from them over this past weekend in their games against Brown and Yale?
You know, this should have been a weekend where Penn seniors were on display. You know, Miles and Fran, it should have been a celebration of what they've meant to this program for 4 years. But instead, it was just two stars from other teams coming into the Palestra and putting on shows, right? Cedric Cucumensa for Brown on Friday night lit them up. You know, he was taking shots a little like Henry Brooks likes to take, right from the top of the key, but he was actually draining them consistently all night long. And then, you know, Justin Sears for Yale, what a fantastic player, first and foremost. And you know, Penn is one of two teams in the Ivy League to not double him, and nothing makes him happier than to be, you know, played one-on-one against a team like Penn when they're struggling the way that they are, because he put on a show.
Yeah, definitely. Saturday night's game was the Justin Sears show. One of the top players in the Ivy League, could potentially win Ivy League Player of the Year this year, just having an absolutely monster season. Now, on the women's side, things are actually looking quite a bit better. The women's team swept Brown and Yale this weekend. Stephen, tell us a little bit about those games and what the wins mean for Penn as they move towards the end of this season.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we're now moving into the non-depressing part of this program, as Penn women's basketball had a banner weekend. The team went up to Brown and overcame a slow start to win 70-54 behind the dominant effort down low by junior forward Kara Bonenberger, and then followed it up Saturday night with a big win over Yale behind 6 3-pointers from Kathleen Roach. Now, what makes this weekend even better is the fact that Princeton lost at Brown in a stunner on Saturday night, which means that we have 3 games left for both teams, and they're tied for first. So assuming both teams beat Columbia and Cornell, now granted with Penn losing to Dartmouth last week and Princeton following up with a loss to Brown, that might not be a great assumption. But if both teams win those games, it all comes down to March 11th at Jadwin Gymnasium, 5:30, Penn-Princeton. I don't think that Penn can ask for much better than the de facto Ivy championship game, and they're in it. So Mike McLaughlin and his crew are going to be ready, and it's going to be an interesting last 5 days of the Ivy season starting on Friday.
As we move forward, you know, Kevin Garnett said anything is possible. We saw that this past weekend, because you and I, we saw Brown in person here at the Palestra a few weeks ago on the women's side, and they did not look like a formidable opponent to any team. Penn blew them out of the water. This Saturday, you saw the complete opposite. Brown put on a clinic, and that's how you beat Princeton. Anyway, it's going to be an exciting end of the regular season, at least for Penn women's hoops. That's all for tonight's episode of After the Buzzer, and stay tuned for more videos and content as we move towards the end of the week. Stay tuned, sports fans.